John Blake presents Still Standing, written by Natalie Queiroz and read by Kat Rose Martin. Prologue. To new adventures! The corks popped and the glasses fizzed as we raised them to toast our friends preparing to leave for South Korea. A new life awaited them and their 3 children. It was early August 2015 as we stood together in the garden of their parents' house in Birmingham. As my eyes panned our assembled group, I smiled at the easy familiarity we still enjoyed over 25 years on from our first meeting. Drawn together during school years, our group of teenage girls then befriended pupils at the neighbouring boys' grammar school. Memories of house parties still hung in the air, smuggled alcohol, surreptitious kisses, hormones flying. Bobby, my now true love, and I shared a kiss at one such party, until I somewhat unceremoniously almost choked on the polo mint I was sucking, something we had joked about many times since. But our relationship developed no further back then, as I was the recent ex of one of his close friends and the mate code had kicked in. I chuckled to myself as I glanced at that very guy, ironically now happily married to my former bestie from school, with a family unit of their own. Quite a few of the girls ended up marrying the boys from back then. Bobby and I were a late addition to this coupling trend. After school we lost contact as we went our separate ways to different universities. I always heard about him through the other girls, though. Whilst he stayed single, playing the role of the doting and loyal eldest son to his strict Muslim parents, I married Ian at 28 and we had 2 children, Emily and Isabel. Unfortunately, the marriage didn't go to plan and we split when the youngest Isabel was only 3 years old. Luckily, we maintained a very amicable relationship and despite not being together, still showed care and consideration to each other, happily attending events as a couple when necessary. Bobby and I got together the year after my marriage failed. A genuine, loving, caring and fun guy, I was over the moon. Even today, he was still holding court with the group. Always the high-spirited centre of fun, he was full of energy. I'll never forget the time we all did a 26-mile walk around the city, an event organised by the local radio station. He bounced along to SL2 on a ragga tip and House of Pain jump around, whilst the rest of us tried not to focus on our sore, blistered feet. His energy was infectious, as was his smile. I turned and caught his eye across the group. He shot me a dazzling smile and with a slight nod mouthed, "You okay?" I reassured him with a smile and returned nod. We were holding a special secret between us. Only 2 weeks previously, we had found out I was pregnant. We were embarking on our very own new adventure. 39, divorced, and with 2 relatively independent children, I never expected to have another baby. But Bobby's absolute life desire to have a child and the fact I was madly in love with him led us to take the bold step of having a baby of our own. It felt so right. However, it was the early days in the pregnancy and nausea flowed through me. I had driven to the party to explain why I wasn't drinking, a weak excuse bearing in mind Bob had always been the group's nominated driver as he didn't drink due to his cultural beliefs. Fortunately, no one seemed to notice. The party was full of laughter, reminiscences, and talk of future paths. As we stood on the lawn hugging our goodbyes, discussing when we would be able to meet up again as a group, little did any of us know this was to be one of our very last times together. In that happy moment, none of us knew what was about to happen in just under 7 months' time. No one could have predicted what that day in March 2016 was to bring. Chapter 1. And so it began. 6:30, Friday, 4th of March, 2016. I woke in the dark, my peace shattered by the incessant beeping of my phone's alarm. Bleary-eyed, I prodded at the screen, almost knocking it off the bedside table in the process. Another night of disturbed sleep. My burgeoning bump had woken me numerous times throughout the night for toilet visits, or because my unborn daughter decided to take a gym class in my belly. The joy of the 3rd and final trimester. At 36 weeks and 2 days pregnant, I only had a short way left to go. Nearing the end of a week's annual leave from my job as a project manager at a large pharmaceutical company, leading into maternity leave, I was looking forward to some rest and an opportunity.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?